Over the years, a story has circulated around military and conspiracy theory circles, capturing the imagination of many. The tale centers on American soldiers who allegedly encountered a giant in the remote mountains of Afghanistan. Known as the Kandahar Giant, this myth has sparked both intrigue and skepticism. Though there is no verified evidence to support it, the account has been repeated with various details, adding layers to its mystery. This video dives into the origins, the story itself, and the cultural and psychological factors that may explain why this legend endures. The story of the Kandahar Giant first surfaced in 2002, following reports of unusual activity by U.S. Special Forces operating in the remote and rugged mountains of Kandahar, a region historically known for harboring hostile elements, from Taliban fighters to elusive caves. According to the tale, a Special Forces team had gone missing while on patrol. A subsequent rescue team was dispatched to locate them, only to come face to face with a giant creature said to be 12 to 15 feet tall. One of the first known public mentions of this story came from the radio show Coast to Coast AM, a popular platform for discussing paranormal and conspiracy theories. Since then, numerous websites, blogs, and forums have picked up on the story, each one adding more dramatic and elaborate details. According to the account, a group of Special Forces soldiers ventured into the mountains to locate a missing patrol unit. After some time of searching, they stumbled upon a cave entrance where evidence of a skirmish could be seen: broken gear, scattered ammunition, and signs of a struggle. It was at this point that a massive, humanoid figure emerged from the cave. This figure, described as being 12 to 15 feet tall, had long, red hair and was equipped with a rudimentary weapon resembling a large spear. The creature, reportedly weighing over 1,000 pounds, charged at the soldiers. Taken by surprise, the soldiers opened fire, concentrating their gunfire on the giant's head and face. Reportedly, one of the soldiers was killed by the giant. After a prolonged barrage of gunfire, claiming to have shot hundreds of rounds, the giant was finally killed. One detail that is often repeated in various versions of the story is that the giant had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, a characteristic known as polydactyly. Some accounts claim that the giant wore animal skins as clothing, adding to its primal and fearsome appearance. After the giant was killed, military helicopters supposedly airlifted the body back to an undisclosed location for examination. It was said that the giant's body was shipped to a U.S. base, and since then, the encounter has been subject to intense secrecy, leading many to suspect a cover-up. The primary sources of the story stem from alleged testimonies of unnamed U.S. military personnel. These soldiers, speaking anonymously, claim to have first-hand knowledge of the incident. In some accounts, they described the psychological shock of encountering such a creature, adding that the size and strength of the giant far exceeded anything they had ever seen in combat. Some versions even go as far as to say that the Department of Defense took great measures to ensure that the incident would never see the light of day, classifying all information and silencing those involved. A key figure often cited in these accounts is an individual known as Mr. K, an alleged contractor who worked with the U.S. military and appeared on a number of alternative media platforms. He corroborated the story of the Kandahar Giant and added that the body had been transported to a secret facility for further study. Despite these testimonies, no official record or document has ever surfaced to substantiate the existence of this event. The U.S. government, when asked directly about such incidents, has either ignored the question or denied any knowledge of such encounters. While the Kandahar Giant story may sound like a purely modern invention, tales of giants are deeply rooted in the mythologies of various cultures, including the Middle East. In biblical texts, figures like Goliath are described as towering giants who struck fear into their enemies. In Islamic folklore, there are also mentions of jinn or other supernatural beings who possess immense size and strength, living in remote places like mountains and caves. Afghanistan itself, with its vast and rugged terrain, has long been a place of mystery and danger. For centuries, travelers and soldiers have reported strange encounters in its barren, mountainous landscapes. In many ways, the Kandahar Giant story echoes the ancient myths that have pervaded the region for millennia, blending them with modern military accounts to create a New Age legend. The stress of combat can produce a range of psychological effects, including heightened senses, fear, and sometimes hallucinations. Soldiers operating in a high-stress environment like Afghanistan's mountainous regions, facing not only insurgents but also harsh terrain and isolation, could be susceptible to confusing natural phenomena with something more supernatural. In fact, studies on human perception suggest that when we are in an unfamiliar or threatening situation, our brains may fill in gaps in our understanding, sometimes leading to the creation of false memories or exaggeration of events. If soldiers did encounter something unusual, perhaps an exceptionally large person, or even a misidentified animal, it's possible that the story was amplified and altered through the retelling, especially once it made its way into the public consciousness. Additionally, the allure of the unknown plays a role in why stories like the Kandahar Giant endure. People have a natural curiosity about what lies beyond the known world, and stories of giants or other cryptids tap into that sense of wonder. In times of conflict, these stories can also serve as a form of psychological escapism, a way to make sense of the chaos and uncertainty of war. Skeptics have offered several explanations for the Kandahar Giant story. Some suggest that the tale is nothing more than a modern folklore or urban legend, fueled by the isolation of soldiers in a hostile environment. Others argue that it could be an exaggeration of real events, perhaps involving a large and hostile individual or even a natural phenomenon like a rockfall that was misinterpreted. No credible evidence has ever been presented to substantiate the claims of a giant in Kandahar. Military operations are well documented, and any event involving the killing of a giant would likely have been recorded or at least corroborated by other witnesses. The lack of photographic or physical evidence further diminishes the credibility of the story. Moreover, the U.S. military's strict protocols regarding after-action reports and accountability make it highly unlikely that such a significant event could be completely covered up without any leaks beyond vague, unverified testimonies. Even in the absence of proof, the Kandahar Giant story has found an audience. It resonates with those who are skeptical of government transparency, as well as with people who are fascinated by paranormal or cryptozoological phenomena. In an age where conspiracy theories are increasingly popular, the tale of the Kandahar Giant fits neatly into the broader narrative of hidden knowledge and government secrecy. Additionally, the story taps into deep-seated cultural themes. Giants have long been a symbol of humanity's confrontation with forces larger than itself, whether in a literal or metaphorical sense. The idea of soldiers battling a giant in the mountains of Afghanistan plays into archetypal narratives of heroism, danger, and the unknown. The story of the Kandahar Giant may never be conclusively proven or disproven. Like many myths, it exists in a liminal space between fact and fiction, history and legend. While the story has not been substantiated by credible evidence, its persistence speaks to its power as a modern myth. Whether viewed as a cautionary tale, a piece of entertainment, or a glimpse into the strange and unknown, the legend of the Kandahar Giant continues to capture imaginations around the world. In the end, the truth behind this tale may be less important than what it reveals about human psychology, culture, and our enduring fascination with the extraordinary. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe.